Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Creative Adventure. As it stands, I'm quite happy with the current state of South Ellington. So today I want to start working on the surrounding area because, as you can see, it's quite bland, boring, and barren. Not much is going on out there, so I want to change that. Now, the first job I need to do is to go around the terrain and just get rid of any noticeably straight edges like here. Obviously, I know Minecraft is a game using blocks, but I think we can make them look a little bit more natural and curvy like this bit here, compared to just these harsh straight lines. Another job I'm going to do at the same time is to go around all of these like scars in the landscape and just fill them in. I don't really like how they look, and any sort of caves and stuff that I want on the map, I want to put those in myself. I do like the caves that are in the game, it's just the entrances are never where I want them, so I'm probably, just going to fill up any cave entrances and just ugly little holes in the ground and just make my own as and when. Something else I've already started doing is changing the cliff faces to, instead of having dirt in them, just to be completely made out of stone. I'm probably going to go in at some point and just touch it up with bits of andesite and cobblestone here and there. But I just think it looks so much better being made out of stone rather than just dirt. So I'm going to be doing that for probably all of the cliff faces I have. Now, thanks to the power of editing, we can go ahead and skip a good few hours into the future. So here is a semi-finished product. I have subconsciously been working my way towards the windmill. I know I say this about literally everything I do at this point, but yeah, reasonably happy with how it's turned out. Got a big flat area over here where the wheat field's going to be. I can always add a few extra layers in here and there if I want to, but yeah, I think I'm working towards the windmill. I'm really keen to get that built, so that's something I definitely want to work towards, and well, have been working towards, literally. Yeah, there are a few bits here and there still that I need to touch up, obviously. I've only done this sort of corner of the island, sort of like, well, say the horizon, this bit just here and beyond, I haven't touched. It's just been taking me ages to do. It's nothing exciting. It's literally me just placing grass blocks or deleting grass blocks. Nothing exciting to see. So, taking me ages, but I am getting there slowly. So, I think now I'm going to take a break from touching grass and I'm going to put in a pathway all the way over, hopefully, to the windmill now. So I've used coarse dirt as sort of like the base here, just to sort of map out where the paths are going to go. So the first sort of way you could go is down here, and it goes into the cliff face here. I am going to build a little sort of cave, maybe, type thing here. Don't want to give it away, but yeah, that's where the first one leads to. Then we can follow it around this way. Little landslide in the cliff face there. Yeah, I kind of felt like these grass blocks are sort of mapping out where a house is going to be. I felt like something needed to go here other than just trees. So I felt like having just a little house just on the outskirts of the village would be a nice little touch. What's going to go there? No idea, but we'll stick a house in there for now. So at some point I will come back and just touch up the path and just add, brown concrete powder, rooted dirt, packed mud, things like that. But for now it's just pure coarse dirt just to sort of map it out. And then we get over here and we get to where the farm is going to be. Now, it's a bit of a funky design when you look at it from up here. I've tried to sort of map it out or try and map out where things are going to go. So I envisage here is going to be a barn. Then obviously in the middle we've got a big area for a wheat field. Maybe a little house or two here. And of course we've got the windmill, which I'm looking forward to. And then maybe like another house and maybe like kind of like a shed type area for the sheep pen that's going to be here. That's just going to go off and then I think it's going to connect up to the quarry. And then lastly, we've got this sort of giant circle, which is going to act as sort of like, I don't know what you call it, but kind of like a central area. So there's going to be a building here, which is going to give you like an introduction to the farming skill. There's going to be a little stall which will sell seeds, and then there's going to be a portal which is going to teleport players to, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like a little hub for the player-owned farms. Player-owned farms aren't going to be available to everyone. You have to create a unique farm for each player. So Still need to work on that idea, but yeah, each player is going to have their own farm where they can plant seeds and stuff rather than out in the actual world, just because I think that'd get way too complicated. So yeah, this is going to be sort of like the introduction to the farming skill when we do implement that. Now, what I probably should do is go back to the start of the path and start sort of, putting trees and stuff and scenery in around it. But I'm not going to do that because that's boring. So while we're here, I think I'm actually just going to start building the farm. So yeah, we'll start with the barn and move up in that direction, I think. So this is just a simple barn that I've thrown together. It was sort of inspired by the barns from World of Warcraft, although it's been a good few years since I've played those games, so it probably doesn't look all that similar, but it's just the general layout I was going for. Originally, I sort of pictured having horses in here, but I'm thinking maybe it'll just be sheep. Of course, we've got some tools hanging on the walls, some invisible armor stands and invisible item frames, looking quite good. And we've got a little area up here that we can go on. Not that there's anything exciting up here, it's just all hay. And we get out on the other side, there is a crane as well, that's lifting the hay up to the upper level. Now, credit where credit's due here, I straight up stole this design. I was really struggling to build anything that looked good, so quick Google search and I saw this image, so that's what this is based off of. I'm not going to claim this is my own because it's not. Whilst I was Googling images for the World of Warcraft barns, I came across this one. It's probably not that high quality, but there were silos in World of Warcraft as well at the farm, so I've just added a couple of those in as well. That's where they keep all of the grain / wheat and stuff. Just thought, yeah, it would fill the space. So yeah, this is what we've got at the minute. I think I'm going to move on to the wheat field now. However, I think I might actually just put grass in the field instead of wheat. The idea with wheat is that you're going to grind it in the windmills and turn it into flour. And I think it makes more sense that you farm the grass and turn that into hay rather than farming wheat and turning it into hay, even though that is like a Minecraft thing. I want to do it slightly differently. So yeah, now it's time to just put in a big grass field. Now, another game I play is Kingdom Come Deliverance. If you haven't heard of it and you like medieval games, I would absolutely recommend checking it out. It's bloody brilliant. But that's not the point. The game is quite historically accurate. And in loads of fields and stuff, you have these hay bales just sort of like collected around posts. And this game has quite a few of them. So apparently, this is what they used to do in the medieval times. And I'm going to steal this idea for my farm and just have sort of like hay bales and posts spread throughout my wheat / grass field. So this is what I've come up with for my field. Obviously we've got posts sort of scattered throughout the field. Not all of the hay has been harvested, but you've got areas where it has been harvested and there's like a big area around it where the grass has been cut, and then you've got others where the grass needs cutting. Now, the idea behind this field is that it's going to be linked to both a quest and the farming skill. So there's going to be rabbits in here which sort of run around, and you'll have a quest just to sort of kill, I don't know, like 10 rabbits or something because it's ruining the crops. But the rabbits will drop seeds which you can then take to your player-owned farms and then obviously grow wheat from there. There'll be 2 sets of rabbits. The first set will just be like normal rabbits that run too fast for you. So you won't really be able to kill those with a sword. You'll need to come back when you've got a bow. And then the other set will just be normal rabbits that have had a slowness potion applied to them. So you can sort of hopefully kill them with melee. The only difference between the two is that the slower ones will only drop like 1 seed at a time, whereas the faster ones will drop like 2 to 3. So it'll just be like a free and easy way to sort of get seeds for your farm. Obviously there will be the farming stall over there where you can buy seeds, but obviously that will cost money. So this is sort of like the cheap and free alternative. Now the next thing I want to build is like a little farmhouse, because obviously the farmers will need somewhere to live. Oh, well, never mind. Let's go and check it out. So starting off, it's nothing amazing. They've got some of the wool from the sheep just in their own house. God knows why. And then they've got a few carpets as well, made with the same sheep's wool. But my favourite part in this house has to be the kitchen counter where they've been preparing one of the rabbits that they've managed to catch on their farm. Now, I appreciate it's a little bit gory for a kid's game, but I really do quite like this. Of course, we're using invisible armor stands, so that hatchet is on an armor stand, but so is the rabbit meat and rabbit hide. Obviously, the blood is just like redstone. You can put an item frame on the same tile as the redstone, but when you put an item in that item frame, the sort of textures sort of fight to, come out on top. So that's why I've had to do these two bits as armor stands. But yeah, I proper like that. Maybe it's just me, but I think that's really cool. Anyway, that's just a quick view of the farmhouse. We'll move on from there now. Obviously, we've got the windmill next. Now, I am actually going to skip the windmill for now. I would quite like to have a whole episode dedicated to that and get the fan moving and everything. So, probably going to do that next episode. But yeah, for now, we're just going to move on up to this sort of little farm over here. Again, probably going to do a little small house here, like a little shed, and then the farm for the sheep just up here. So this is what I've quickly thrown together. We'll start with the house because it's the least interesting. Nothing too special in here. It's literally just like a bog standard house. Again, got the potential to add like a quest NPC in here or something, but at the minute, not planning on it. Then round to the side, this is where we have the little shed for shearing the sheep. So as you can see, we've got a few piles of wool, and then just over here we've got the little area where the farmers are going to shear the sheep. So I plan to have just a sheep sort of stood here, and then a farmer next to it, and it's going to have a few command blocks underground playing the shearing sounds. So it sounds like or it looks like he's shearing a sheep right there and then. And I've thrown a few bone meals on the floor on some invisible item frames just to make it look like there are some sort of like cuts of wool on the floor, so the sheep is getting sheared. Lastly, I've just thrown a lectern in, and that's where I'm going to put a book in for a quest. I'm going to have a quest to shear sheep. If you play RuneScape, this may be a familiar one. But yeah, we'll cover that later when we do like a quest episode or something. And then lastly, we've just got the sheep pen. I tried to make it look a little bit more interesting than just a normal field, which is what sheep typically live in. So I've got sort of like little feeding areas in the corners, a couple of rocks here and there, tree, little puddle. And then of course we've got the little sort of sleeping area, I guess, or a place to go when it rains. But yeah, that's going to be the sheep farm. I've been looking at the space in between these two farms, thinking I probably need to stick something in here just to fill the space a bit. I was originally going to put in a couple of trees and stuff, but I feel like that's probably just being lazy. I think I've decided though that I'm probably going to put in a small shed or a small building just as a load of tools and supplies and stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and stick that in. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot better now that I've put that in there. It did look like something was missing, and I think that actually fits in quite nicely. It's just annoying though, because I've got two spots over here now where I need to fill the space with something and I don't know what, so I need to sort of fill this area here and sort of fill this area here as well. But again, don't actually know what's put in there, and I feel like if I just keep putting in sheds and stuff, it's just being a little bit lazy because it's not very creative. But at the same time, you would have quite a few little sheds and stuff dotted around a farm, so maybe I will. I don't know. I'm going to move on to this bit now. Again, I don't know what you would call this area, but it's going to be like the little like farming hub, I guess. So I'm going to build a portal, a little house to sort of introduce you to the farming skill, and then maybe a stall or two, but probably just one. That will sell seeds and stuff. So yeah, we'll start with the portal. So this is the portal frame design that I've settled on. I did try to make it look a little bit more elaborate and ornate and a bit larger and more circular, but just considering the scale of the rest of the farm, it just seemed a little bit overbearing. So I've shrunk it down just to this size, which I think will work in my favour because I aim to have a similar portal frame style for player-owned housing when I come to add that, and that'll be within like a walled city, so the smaller the better really. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the size of this anyway. Now, I have actually added some particle effects. So just down here, we've got 2 command blocks. So the top one will force the sneeze particles, and then the bottom one will force the end rod particles. So I'll just quickly turn both of those on. And there we go. I think that looks all right. I'm hoping, you know, people who haven't seen this before and don't know what this is will know just by looking at it that it's a portal. Obviously, it doesn't actually work, so if I walk into it, nothing happens. But obviously, the idea is that it will teleport me to the player-owned farm area once it's been built. I think I prefer this portal more, though, at night time. So if we go ahead and just turn it to midnight. There we go. I think it looks a lot better at night. I've got a invisible sort of light block in the middle there, which just lights up the actual portal frame itself. So yeah, I think that's quite cool. As much as I like the effect of the portal, I am going to turn the command blocks off just because they are spamming me with the outputs. So just going to turn it off. You can change the game rule so you don't get command block outputs, but I like it just for testing, so I'm going to keep that game rule on and just turn the portal effect off for now. I've also thrown together a building which will house everything needed to introduce players to the farming skill. Obviously it's not furnished at the minute, but the idea is that there will be a book that you can take with you, and it works similar to the guides in RuneScape. So in RuneScape, if you click on a skill, it will open the guide to that skill and then sort of show you what you unlock at each level. I plan to make a book similar to that, which players can just take around with them. So if they need to refer to the guide for anything, they've got it on the go. So yeah, I'll probably put that in as part of this house, maybe like a bookshelf or something somewhere. But yeah, that'll be a job for another day. I will also need to explain to players that the farming skill won't actually be available to everyone. I don't think it would make sense for people to be able to farm out in the open world, as someone could just come along and harvest the crops someone else has planted. So I'll need to allocate a small area of the map where each player will have their own small farm, almost like an instanced area. Whilst it wouldn't take too long to set up one farm, if I had a sudden influx of players to the server, each of them wanting their own farm, even though I can copy and paste them, I'd still have to do some background work for each of them to work properly, and I don't want to have to spend chunks of time just setting up farms, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll do here. I'll either have to limit the number of people on the server, or I'll just make like 100 farms to start with, and then it's a first come, first serve deal. I don't know. Anyway, even if people don't have access to the skill, I still plan to have all of the crops and farm related items drop from mobs throughout the map, so it won't be 100% necessary for people to have. It might just ease some of the other grinds, like cooking, for example. Moving on though, we've got another market stall, similar design to the ones over in South Ellington, but it's gone with a nice dirty green colour instead. Just thought it green fitted with the farming skill, so even though I don't like the colour, that's what I've gone with. But yeah, there's just going to be a dude in here which sells probably beginner level seeds, so like wheat and maybe the next tier of seed up when I've decided what that actually is. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as that. I've just been sort of walking around trying to fill the space here, and I've added another one of these little storage area, shed, shack type things. Again, just thought it sort of fit in, and I'm just trying to fill the space at this point. I have also added in a garden for this house here. I thought a nice big tree would suit quite well. Bigger than this one, sort of a similar size to the starting town, but it started getting really massive when I was putting the leaves in, and I thought I don't want it to block the view of the windmill when we make it. So I've downsized it quite dramatically to just one of the default sort of bigger Minecraft trees, which I'm hoping won't sort of block the view too much. If it does, I'll just get rid of it, but that is a lot smaller than what I had before, so I'm hoping that'll be a good size. And then again, I've just gone ahead and put in a little water feature here, which we can turn on. There you go. Little fountain in someone's back garden. I mean, I don't live on a farm, but I kind of feel like this might be a little bit too extravagant for a farm, but I don't care. I like it. Now, I did want to finish the farm today. textured the paths and everything, you may have noticed. But I've been struggling to think of ideas of what I can put in here. I have tried a few things, but I couldn't really come up with anything good, and I don't want to force myself to put something here now because I'll probably just make something a bit crap. And I think if I leave it and come back in the future and add something in, I might do a better job of it than if I'm forcing myself to put in something just for the sake of it. The final thing I've put in is just this pond here. I wanted to sort of give players a reason to actually follow the path rather than just run straight across the grass. I do want to add in a little tree here that will sort of overhang the pond here. So I want to use one of those bigger trees, the Minecraft generated ones and not the smaller ones. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick, which you probably already know, on how to try and force spawn larger ones instead of smaller ones. Now to do this, you just want to make a tower 4 blocks high on the spot where your sapling is going to grow. Then take out the bottom block, place your sapling, and then just spam bone meal. Now annoyingly, it does sometimes just spawn like the tiniest tree possible. If that happens, just delete all the blocks and start again. Alright, take 2. Okay, so that is almost what I wanted. It's a little bit straight just here at the side here, but let's go ahead and get rid of this. I might just try and fill this out a little bit more, just to make it sort of come in this direction a bit. But yeah, I mainly wanted the overhang here, and that is near enough what I was after. Might just touch up a bit, like I said, but yeah, I'm going to stick with that, I think. Alright, so I've added a few more leaves, a little bit of decoration around the bottom, and even a little bench. And whilst there is more work needed to finish off the farm, I'm going to be honest, I am really eager to start working on the windmill, so I want to wrap this episode up now. As I said, the windmill is going to be its own episode, and that is going to be the next one that I put out. Hopefully it's not going to take me like 5 weeks to put it out like this one has, so I do apologise about that, but unfortunately life has got in the way recently. But with that said, I'm going to try getting back on schedule, putting out some more frequent videos, and just a massive thank you to everyone who's watched this far. So yeah, really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.